Welcome back to Heart with Patty Mulauzi. Today we embark on a unique journey that touches the very core of family dynamics, bridging the generational gap. I'm Patty, your host, and in this episode I'll be sharing my personal experiences of raising a daughter from a different generation and the profound bond that has grown between us over the years. One of the most significant lessons I've learned is the importance of patience. Building generational bonds requires us to understand that each generation comes with its unique perspectives and values. Patience allows us to bridge these differences with empathy and respect. As a mother, I've always been acutely aware of the generational gap that exists between my daughter and I. She possesses a worldly wisdom and awareness of the world that surpasses what I knew at her age. She is totally street smart, where I was figuring things out, I guess. This generational gap often became apparent when we discussed topics like technology. I remember the early days of my daughter's fascination with computers and smartphones, while I was still navigating the world of flip phones. It was a learning curve for both of us. But perhaps the most profound lesson is the power of unconditional love. No matter the generational differences or challenges we faced, our love remained unwavering. It's a reminder that love transcends time and generations. As parents, we often assume the role of teachers, guiding our children through life's lessons. But what I've come to realize is that we can be learners too. My daughter has taught me the value of adaptability and the beauty of embracing change with an open heart. We also had a share of disagreements during her teenage years. Yes, those teenage years. I remember when she wanted to get the latest smartphone, but I thought it was too expensive. And as a matter of fact, it was. We eventually compromised and got her a mid-range phone. It wasn't the latest and greatest, but it was enough for her to do what she wanted to do. Teenage rebellion is a normal part of development. But what causes it? Teenage rebellion can or is caused by some of the following points. Firstly, the need for independence. Teenagers are starting to develop their sense of self and identity, and they want to be independent from their parents. This can lead to them wanting to make their own decisions, even if those decisions go against what their parents want. A teenager might want to dye their hair or get a tattoo, even if the parents don't approve. Another one could be the influence of peers. Teenagers are heavily influenced by their peers, and they may start to act rebellious in order to fit in with their friends. This is especially true if their friends are also being rebellious. For example, a teen may start smoking or drinking alcohol if their friends are doing it. And also the dynamics of children coming from different families and having different upbringings. Whereas other parents might approve of their child possibly smoking or drinking, and you don't approve of it, but because they are friends, that can have quite an influence on the child. The other one is hormonal changes. At this stage, they're going through a lot of hormonal changes, which can lead to mood swings and impulsive behavior. It can make them more likely to act out in rebellious ways, like they can get angry easily or make rash decisions. Also, they're searching for an identity. Remember, they're trying to figure out who they are and what they believe in and what they want. They're in a stage which is in between adulthood and being a child. This can be a confusing and challenging time, and it can lead to them acting out in rebellious ways. It's important to remember that teenage rebellion is a normal part of development. It's also important to remember that not all teenage rebellion is excessive. Some amount of rebellion is normal and healthy. However, if you're concerned about your teenager's behavior, it's always best to err on the side of caution and seek professional help. Another crucial aspect of nurturing generational bonds is communication. We learn the art of active listening, allowing each other to express our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This practice created a safe space for us to share our dreams, fears, and aspirations. As we navigate the complexities of generational bonds, it's important to remember that these relationships are a two-way street. Both the older and the younger generation have much to offer. And the key is to approach these connections with an open heart and willingness to learn from each other. However, it's essential to acknowledge that our journey wasn't always smooth. The teenage years brought their share of challenges, from disagreements about curfews to clashes over clothing choices. Yet through it all, we held on to the understanding that our differences are part of what made our bond unique. Today, my daughter and I share a bond that goes beyond age. We're not just mother and daughter, we're besties, we're friends, we're confidants and allies. Our journey has taught me that generational bonds are a treasure, a cult of memories and experiences that make us who we are. I have a son now, who will soon be a teenager, and although he's a boy and will have different challenges, the learnings from raising his sister will come in handy. Fingers crossed. It's truly remarkable how the bonds between generations can evolve and strengthen over time. My hope is that my story inspires others to connect deeply with their loved ones, transcending the boundaries of age and generation. As the great African author Chinua Achebe once said, "Until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." In our journey of bridging generations, we become the historians of our own stories, celebrating the wisdom and experiences of each generation. And with that, we conclude our exploration of generational bonds in this episode of Heart to Heart with Patty Mulauzi. Thank you for joining me on this episode and on this incredible journey. Stay tuned for more stories and insights in the episodes to come, where we continue to celebrate the power of open hearts, authentic conversations. Until we meet again next Friday, keep your hearts open.